So, hello to one of my next videos. So, before we just kind of discuss the tournament and my team and my retrospective the Series 1 as a whole, I think I should address why I didn't make some kind of summary video before Liverpool Regionals. That was, well, it was because I was just kind of lost team building myself. And from what I've seen with my mutuals at the tournament, they were also similarly lost. Not sure what caused this, but I think it may be caused by the format itself, and that it's just... it feels kind of incomplete, you know. But more on that later. So, where is the window? Should have the window open now, alright. So, yeah, look how many games I played as a test game. As a testing for the regionals, that is something over 500, I would say. Rating was fine, I would say. And I reached to 2000s with my other alt, but I never really settled on that given team because it felt a bit inconsistent, and a lot of teams just felt a bit inconsistent, including the team I eventually brought to the regionals. And I think it's just, well, I've been testing some things myself here, but where is... yeah, most of the time I tested something along the lines of this. It felt incredibly consistent, but never really just made it through to fruition, I would say. Do I even have the Liverpool team on this one? Oh, I do not. That's actually super interesting because... well, yeah, let's just discuss this variant first. So for, when I traveled to the Liverpool, this was the team I had in game. Yeah, it used to be a jump off team, however, it proved to be incredibly inconsistent against the talent teams, to the point it's just... it felt I was throwing my team, you know. Really, jump off is good whenever it faces non-prankster talent teams, which was its original purpose. It was to defeat the Salamence and Pelipper teams, and with Palafin and stuff. It was absolute destruction itself there. Jump off just won against this since it could just sleep powder everything on a team. And if it couldn't be sleep powders, actually it used to be a metal coat nasty plot with Terra Steel. So even if they Terra Slice their King Gambit to grass typing, I could have just went for +2/+2 thanks to the Terra Steel, excuse me. +2/+2 plus metal coat, make it rain to just one-shot a King Gambit, and they couldn't really use their Amingus either because of jump off and Gholdengo's immunity to sport. It felt just great, but against everything else, like the Murkrow talent teams, it felt horrible. It really felt like I was just playing from behind, and I think the biggest problem were the Talonflame Dondozo teams, where I really felt like I was just playing from behind, and it just felt horrible to play against this. And it's Talonflame could just wallow my Dragonite and Terran the Ghost, which was its most popular Terra typing at the moment. It just didn't feel right. So I decided to swap it out for Lilycole. It was pretty self-explanatory set. After you... Leaf Storm was great against Dondozos because Dondozo also doesn't... ignores the special attack drops from Leaf Storms, and Tera Blast from Terra Ghost was not only for was mostly for Skeleturges, you know. I could just smack them with that Helping Hand from Turkle, which yes, I had Helping Hand on Turkle, and I could just smack the Skeleturge, and if they Terra Slice their Skeleturge, there is a chance I could have just Eruption them, you know. There was a Charcoal, Eruption, Overheat, Color Smoke, which again, after you Color Smoke was pretty hilarious against Dondozos. So yeah, I think this combination was just great. It just felt a bit inconsistent, but it just worked greatly. So I don't think I'm allowed to complain about my own team building here. I was 57 speed, by the way. Reasons: I wanted to outspeed Amoonguss, and I wanted to outspeed Gorganicle and Overheated if they Terra Poisoned. Yeah, that felt great, but yeah, you might call me insane for running this much speed on Turtle, but Gorganicle proved to be incredibly annoying Pokemon to deal with, and I just wanted to overheat them before they could Salt Cure me, so yeah. This was the team I almost used. At the tournament, I used a choice-based Gholdengo. What was that? I used Focus Blast for King Gambit. Yes, I used it and hit King Gambit once at the tournament, and it won me the game. It wasn't even like I was behind, it was just like, by the way, I can do this, lol, you know? And I used Flash Cannon just so I can beat Garganical better. And yeah, Outrage on Dragonite was amazing. It just hit its mark so much of the time, although it was RNG. But it just felt like it's such a good tool to just force my hand against like redirections like in Diddy, which I could just one-shot pretty reliably. It was a roll, but highly in my favor, so I couldn't care less. Dondozo, this was not the set. I used a Tera Blast, with Resto Chesto, which Resto Chesto made you win pretty much the Dondozo mirrors because you could just KO the Pokemon early on with Lilligant and Torkoal, and I could have had a infinitely resting Dondozo in the back, which pretty much timer stalled until the end. This was the purpose of rest. I could timer stall pretty much every single time. And Resto Chesto allowed me to just be more proactive against like some other teams, and just so I do not be yapping away with Sleep Talk all the time and letting my destiny be relied on Sleep Talk RNG. And yeah, Tatsugiri was the simple set, just go for Choice Scarf. It was Terra Steel, so I could win the mirrors against other Tatsugiris better, but it never came. Maybe it actually did. I think I might have used it on stream, so if you want to see my game on stream, I played on Liverpool round 2. It's on the Victory Road VGC YouTube channel, I think. So yeah, or on Twitch channel, I don't know. It should be on both, I would assume. So yeah, I won 7-2 day 1, lost to top 32. Basically, it was against a team I knew from ladder. I like Soto. I faced him multiple times on ladder. He had this, like, indeed he had Rainy, Clear Smoke, Torkoal, Arm Rush team, and I was like, alright, it's just one crazy guy from the ladder. What are the chances he is going to get far in the tournament? And if I face him against the tournament, I can just basically take the L and move on to Swiss, you know. And if I face him in single elimination, hopefully he's just going to be eliminated by that point. And if not, hopefully it's going to be further away in the single elimination, so I can get as much CP as I can. Unfortunately, first match, top 32, I got against this team. And it's not like I could have played better, it was just a bit of like unpredictable as to what I should have done. I could have played better. I made like a simple play. I should have predicted something and I hoped I would have predicted correctly, which, yeah, that sounds awful, right? Like, yeah, this was the matchup. Just predict something and hope it's correct. That kind of matchup, yeah. Oh well. So, with that, I think I can end the team report part of this video, and I can just move on to the rating of the Series 1. So, the thing with Series 1 is, it feels like they just... Alright, so just like, there's completely two separate divisions. One being kind of in charge of VGC and the formats, and the other one just game designers, you know. And these two parties were completely separated. So basically, somebody from the VGC crowd just announced, alright, let's just make a metagame without paradoxes and ruin Pokemon. And it feels like a lot of Pokemon like Dondozo and especially Gholdengo, you see this very well in Gholdengo, were designed with paradoxes in mind. Like, the game designers basically said, alright, Gholdengo is a very good Pokemon. It's a very good Pokemon, able to do good out with the paradoxes due to its absolutely amazing ability, nasty plot, make it rain, it's just such a good mon. But, like, we got like stuff like Main able to just Shadow Bullet, or both of the Great Tusks, both of the Dome Fans being able to just massacre it with Earthquake, Headlong Rush, or resist it with Steel Tapping with Iron Tusks. Then we got Iron Moth. Then we got like even the Iron Hands is arguably one of the best counters for it in the game. With Assault Vest, like, and Drain Punch, you can base, like, yeah, if they Tera Steel, forget it. You're not doing any damage, and I can heal all my damage back. Wild Charge is probably a Twitch-go due to high amount of attack on Iron Hands. It just feels like Gholdengo is extremely manageable. But then you just say, alright, we need to just make multiple formats, you know. Let's just remove the paradoxes from the metagame early on and, like, see how it goes. And yeah, it went great. Like, alright, what are our fire type options? Armor Rush, but that guy really needs a DD next to himself. Return Heat, I guess. It's not too bad. Like, people were as desperate. I faced PokéLX in 8th round, and he ran specially defensive Salazzle. Damn, like, come on. If that doesn't sound like the metagame was poorly designed, I don't know what can be. Yeah, Arcanine was one of the best ones, arguably. To the point people were running like Assault Vest Snarl Arcanines just to do that. And yeah, by the way, forget running like Ghost types and Dark types to beat Gholdengo because it Tera Steals anyways whenever it sees one. So you could only really rely on Fire and Ground types to just with overlapping weaknesses, and Ground types were probably the saddest ones. Like, look at his selection. Like, the entire, I could say, entire Scarlet and Violet were designed around Iron Threads and Great Tusks being a ground types that you got access to. Without them, it's incredibly minuscule the amount of, like, good ground types there are. Even Tinglu is banned. Like, what you got here is, like, Crocodile? Well, no thank you. Mudsdale, it just feels like discount Tinglu in every way. Toadscruel, Gastrodon is actually good as an anti-meta, but I just want some good, reliable, consistent, hard-hitting, earthquaking ground type. Which pretty much left us with Garchomp, which just dies to a Make It Rain plus Tailwind, and it needs a Levitator next to itself, or else it has to spam Stomping Tantrum. Like, come on! Stomping Tantrum, really? And by the way, yes, Gholdengo, if it's like max HP, it doesn't get KO'd by Life Orb Earthquake. Like, sorry, you know. Sorry for ranting a little bit here, but like, this is like what feels like designed by Gholdengo. It can't be even like spoiled by Mungus. It's just so ridiculous. I've played like people on ladder, but which were really desperate for counters on Gholdengo. Like, Sableye tried to disable it, but like, good as gold, you know. It really felt imbalanced time to time. It felt unfair sometimes against Gholdengo. But yeah, Dondozo Tatsugiri felt like similarly unfair. They were not uncounterable, but if your team was weak to Dondozo Tatsugiri, there was no way like your last slot could salvage this. Like, there's not a single one-mon counter to Dondozo. It's similar, like, I think I described this like in previous formats as well, like that there is like, it's one of those Pokemon where you just need to have a good matchup against it, your team has to have good matchup against it, or else you just lose. You can't solve it with like last 2 slots. Rest of your team is still weak to it and will get pressured by like crazy, and then like opponents still got like 4 other Pokemon and like Pokemon Revival Blessings one of these Pokemon back. It's like, yeah, Dondozo felt imbalanced. With a lot of Paradox Pokemon, you can just hit it hard and probably just eliminate it. Iron Bottle with Freeze Rise is especially good because it just takes like order up, outspeeds, Freeze Rise for 2-hit KO, can Tera Ice for guaranteed 2-hit KO. It feels so good. I would say this is one of the best counters. Flutter Mane also hits it hard to just finish the game off. Great Tusk hits it hard for great damage. It's just so great to see a lot of these Pokemon just be back and just hit hard, you know. And Tatsugiri is no joke, by the way. Like that thing, you killed it on Dondozo and it just starts dropping like Choice Scarf Draco Meteors on you. This is not a bad Pokemon by any chance. This thing is a menace in late game. It really feels like one of these small video game bosses winning big video game bosses, and like you're left with like 3 HP and like it starts spamming these Draco Meteors, you know. It's one of these video game paradoxes, you know. Yeah. Anything else I would just say? Other than that, it feels like the metagame was a bit too limited. It lacked centralization, like it really did. I I struggled to, like, I planned to make Metagame Mondays videos, but, like, it felt so, it feels like this metagame, almost, the archetypes were basically like, alright, these 2 Pokemon, maybe 3rd Pokemon like this in here, and then you can just do whatever you want with the rest of the team. There were, like, no Ringia Suns or anything, like, from VGC 2020, where there was, like, a 6-1 team that just needed to counteract, and even though you counteracted it, it still won because it was just such a brutally consistent team. There was nothing like that in the format. Dondozo, for example, was one of these. Murkrow was pretty much like Gholdengo, and then Garchomp. That is the archetype. Do whatever you want with the rest of the slots. Usually just slamming like stuff like generalists like Nescarada. These are always great. But yeah, I think I just went over all the archetypes. Like, look at this. Versus centralization, and this is why I think some centralization is necessary. You got strong Pokemon that just deal good, consistent damage, that just deal with a lot of Pokemon at the same time, allowing for more creative team building, but I also have target on their head, so you just got like, and the meta team building aspects, you know. This metagame completely lacked this, and I think it just, oh yeah, Annihilate Mazolt, and it didn't help. A lot of these strategies were like close to impossible to defeat, like okay, beat me. I got 250 base power attack. Try me, you know. This guy with Friend Guard like this bulk, like, good luck, dude. Good luck. You know, beating this, you know. And then it just, like, did some final damage shenanigans as well. It was ridiculous, you know. But yeah, look at, this is the archetype. I'm not kidding. This is the archetype. Rest of the Pokemon, completely free, up to you. I'm not sure what I'm trying to point here, but it just feels like the metagame was largely decentralized, which didn't help with a lot of people team building for this format, you know. This is one of the reasons why I think I struggled, and a lot of people I asked struggled with team building, because it just felt like it was largely decentralized, and maybe like the other slots could have just, and like the non-archetype Pokemon started having a matchup like against each other, and it just felt awkward to team build. Like, you just lose 5 games and like wonder, alright, this team might not work, but why? Well, it didn't work, so let me just move on, you know. Yeah, this metagame was a bit of a mess. It wasn't bad per se. I think Series 3 is gonna be a lot worse because of like Chew shenanigans and Chin Pao. Just feel like the metagame is gonna be way too aggressive. But from my own personal opinion, I think the Series 2 with the Paradox Pokemon feels like it's gonna be a lot more organic. Similar to like the old formats, like where you almost always got like some legendaries just being in early metagames just to centralize, increase the power levels, just so you can just break through some things. Series 2 is probably going to be the best out of the 3. Then it's probably going to be Series 1. Not to, like, it's not bad metagame, but it's going to be a bit further behind. And then there's going to be like Series 3 with like Chi and Chin Pao. These are going to be, this is not going to be a good metagame. Although I can already tell you, Lycanroc and Terminator might save that Series 3. Quote me on that later. I think Lycanroc Terminator will literally save Series 3, but yeah. The metagame, not awful, but I was not a huge fan of it due to decentralization, I would say. Not enough option, not enough power level, whilst there is a huge power level at the same time. It felt weird, you know, which probably sums it up all. So yeah, not enough power level at the same time of high power level. Series 1 metagame, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I think I just knocked myself out here, so I'll catch you next video. It's probably gonna be some Series 2 observations, I would say, or something along these lines, like cool mons to just build for, you know. We'll see. So I'll catch you later. See ya.